I'm back again with another one. All right. Uh, this has been kind of interesting and fun at the same time. I haven't like read something aloud like a book or anything in I don't know, kind of while, like years, right? But there's nothing like reading something that you wrote while you were so young, right? And reading it again. This is going to be a more current reading of something I wrote like a couple days ago, like maybe not even a month ago. Well, this month, right? So, this is communicating with the deceased. Um, this is like one of the things that I needed to write, like coping, because I lost a loved one recently. So this is me just trying to, I don't know, just putting my stuff out there, just trying to, I don't know, deal. This is how I deal, how I had to deal. So let me get into it. Communicating with the deceased. There are many theories and beliefs about what happens when people die. My theory shouldn't be any more or less radical than any of the others that are out there. As a man of science, technology, religion, and curiosity, I have to consistently ask these questions and push what we know as acceptable truths and flip the logic completely out of bounds to see if there's something we are all missing as people. I may be using this theory as a means to cope with the recent loss. I may be also trying to work through her loss and gather what we call hope for the rest of humanity as I walk down this mental exercise. The dead are not lost to us, but they exist in a super transitional state of consciousness that is hard to imagine or understand being bound within a body that is still alive. Life as energy. It is my sincere belief and knowledge that in order to operate a human body, one must have a complete knowledge of all of the manual features a human body comes with. I believe the human body is a complex organism of different systems which allow us to function within our environment on planet Earth. Rather than revisit all of the biological systems in the human body, my focus is on the mind, the spirit, and the soul of an individual living person. To lift an arm, which is connected to your hand, which directly connects to your fingers, are all asynchronous connections which are controlled by your mind, which is within the human body. The physical existence of a human body is a consistent biological input and output system. The liquid one consumes is extracted and processed as urine. With food you digest becomes excrement. As such, the terrestrial plane we exist in is a physical layer built within metaphysical universe which is filled with countless types of light gas atoms, subatomic particles, stars. You get the picture. When the physical body deceases, the body itself does not disappear. It doesn't phase out of your terrestrial plane. It doesn't disintegrate, but it does begin to decay. The energy within the body of the recently deceased is no longer bound by the physical body and gets gathered by the mind, spirit, soul, by the natural, mental, physical relationship one formerly had within the human body. To put it blatantly, the human spirit soul only knows how to operate a human body, legs, arms, hands, and therefore can only see itself or reflect and or project in that manner. If the energy, the soul is no longer bound by by human body, it should be free enough to operate at the speed of human thought. The speed of human thought. A human who can experience life can remember. A memory allows a human to travel through time and relive a moment in history which has already taken place. This thought is a fast process because the human mind, which is experienced by the soul, carries with it specific memories which can be accessed quicker than any computer or data type humans can conceive. Your earliest memory proves that time travel, in fact, does exist and can be experienced by any human through the process of memory. You can remember how someone shook your hand or told you that one funny joke or cooked something that smelled really good. All of these triggers allow a person's mind, soul, to travel to a specific event that they have previously experienced in another context. Humans are the only animals on this planet that consistently think about the future. In our entertainment, such as movies, music, books, and television, we design in our heads an idea of what the future may or may not look like. We have no evidence, no predetermined knowledge, foresight, but we have a mind and a soul which can travel into a possible future and return an environment of what a person is expected to see or experience in real time. What can the deceased do? I believe that the deceased exist in a transitional state, can travel through time. They can also relive their entire human existence all over again, starting from its earliest memory, which would be birth. Because the human soul contains years of information and history, it can be shifted through and read. Let's let's put this in another way. The deceased are made up of light, light that we cannot see, hear, or touch. But that light has been around in a human body, experiencing years of memories and information. If your thought can travel back in time for you to relive a moment, you can only time travel at the speed of thought, which means you physically cannot go back in time using your body. You cannot arrive in the past using anything physical, but metaphysically, you can remember any year, time, place, or event you'd like. You can share memories with someone else who can offer their experiences from a different vantage point. I believe this happens with the deceased on a different level. If I'm no longer bound by a human body, then my soul carries with it nothing but memory of my experiences. Everyone I've ever interfaced or connected with is stored in my memories, which means I too can connect with everyone who has been in my life via time traveling by memory. The mind has no real boundaries as to where it can take you or what its capabilities are. It's the body that restricts one to the terrestrial space, which limits us physically. Your imagination, um, your very imagination is a place that exists in your mind, but your mind doesn't just invent or create, it sends and receives signals just like any other communication device we invent. It communicates thoughts, ideas, fantasies, dreams, nightmares, predictions, fears, excitement. Every single human thought, idea expressed by the human mind is communicated metaphysically throughout the universe with other beings capable of performing the same tasks. We are able to think of ideas that have yet to be invented. I believe it is because somewhere within the imagination, somewhere an idea, device, or method has been invented and has now permeated through the universe only for someone to catch and invent or develop. Tachyons. According to metaphysics, these are particles that travel faster than light and are considered a violation of the known laws of physics. It is also defined as the following: have the unusual property of increasing in speed as their energy decreases, require infinite energy to slow to the speed of light, allow for communication back in time, which would violate causality and lead to logical paradoxes. Having this as a starting point helps give me and helps give me and others a direction in what to look for within the known and unknown universes. I believe that tachyons exist in the form of memory, and memory can transcend both time and space in the form that humans experience called deja vu. Deja vu. Deja vu is as defined is the feeling that you've already experienced something even though you know you haven't. The term comes from French phrase déjà vu, which means already seen. Cause causes a familiar sight or sound, entering a room you've never been in before, traveling often, regularly remembering dreams, and being tired or stressed. Having this as a definition allows me to connect the relativity between the ideas of the human mind being able to not only time travel forwards and backwards through memory, but this ability can be thrown and caught by your past and future self. Deja vu is not a glitch in the human brain and is most certainly not a feeling of having experienced an event. I believe this is the very proof that there are different versions of ourselves and that we exist in a fabric that crosses streams from time to time. Deja vu is a current experience you yourself as a person are experiencing for the second time. You've already experienced this very event before because you have in the future. The future version of yourself has shared a specific memory of the event you're experiencing at the point of deja vu. Deja vu connects the present self with the future self in real time, making one temporarily psychic. Depending on the event, one can predict which person will say what word or what actions will happen next. The event can typically last less than 2 minutes for the person experiencing the event. The unfortunate facts of deja vu is that this can only be proven in theory as we cannot currently capture in real time or space an event where a person is quantumly entangled with their future selves by a memory shared by a tachyon connection. My conclusion would lead me to believe that there are not only different versions of ourselves, but different timelines as well. I believe tachyons are able to communicate to our past and future selves expressed as deja vu, not only across timelines, but universes as well. Tachyons are the very particles that may be the very fabric that connects all relativity that Albert Einstein has long preached about. The universe is connected not by one substance, but by many. The energy that exists within the universe allow many things and answers we do not fully understand, but we can at least take a guess and see where we land. Humans as data. The amount of information a human can store cannot be measured by our current computer technology, but if we are recently deceased, we no longer have to factor in the human body or its condition. We only need focus on the energy which is no longer bound to a physical human body and finding a way to interface using technology. In order to properly gauge the human soul or spirit, which has now left the body, we must have a new unit of measurement to collect identification data on the light spectrum, energy output, electromagnetic signature, aka frequency, amplitude modulation, spectral electrical magnetic analog recording device, a smart lens, which can consistently change, adjust, rotate, zoom, and focus view within the current technology, we should be at the stages of quantum development of devices which include the capture and release of tachyons. The only current issue would be determining what causes tachyons to function, move, operate the way they do. What are the principles that tachyons obey? What are the laws in which how far a tachyon can go or cannot go beyond. Are tachyons but stretches of fabric that we experience as time, connecting one event in multiple universes at a particular time, or event creating the deja vu paradox? I believe that that I believe that within quantum technology and application development and artificial intelligence, we may be able to answer a significant amount of these questions, or at least have a better visual way of asking them by way of computing power. We now have access to virtually unlimited computing power within the subspace of internet, which can provide streaming, analytics, results, measurements, and can be defined in millions of ways to utilize data for connecting two endpoints over a great distance. It is my personal responsibility that we can utilize this technology to communicate with loved ones we may have lost in this lifetime. Sending an email, having a FaceTime chat with someone who has been deceased would certainly within itself be a miracle. But in the year 2025, it we can make it both science and technology. If the deceased, as I would theorize, is in fact an electromagnetic collection of light on an unseen spectrum, then we should all open our minds to the fact and or possibility that death is not only indeed the natural process in life, but that life itself isn't over at death. That after one dies, the body doesn't contain the person you know and love anymore, but that person exists in another form. And if there's a chance, no matter how small, to be able to communicate and with any deceased human being, it is most recently worthy of any type of research. Hang on, let me try that again. If there's any chance, no matter how small, to be able to communicate with any deceased human being, it is most certainly worthy of any type of research of significant financial backing to invest looking into. What can deceased see? Judging from the fact that a body has two eyes, two ears, one nose, and one mouth, the deceased can view the physical world and the universe we all exist in. They can travel at the speed of thought or possibly through time. If this, if this, these principles are correct for the sake of argument, it is possible that the deceased can travel through inner dimensions. What do we mean by inner dimension? I mean a deceased soul can have no problems traveling through black holes that are located in space. Black holes are as natural as the events that occur on our Earth. We consider our weather conditions as part of nature and should consider that space within the universe is more natural than any one planet limited by its biology or technology. The deceased can, in fact, view life or living creatures on other planets, travel to other galaxies, solar systems, and in now are in no way regulated by any conventional means, limited celestial discovery. Deceased no longer in real time. The deceased have no sense of time. It is my belief that since they are no longer analog or receiving information in the form of a body, that they travel too fast for humans to interface or see. I believe that the deceased are traveling in a hyper state of speed, meaning that they are very fast and we are all standing still. Basically, the closest comparison I can think of is lo- is um, l- I can think of is looking and experiencing existence through the lens of a camera, looking at life in very slow motion or even perfect stillness. As I'm sitting here typing these words, I'm making a blank expression. This expression to my recently deceased loved one may confuse her as to what I'm thinking about. If I verbalize my if I verbalize myself to my understanding, since she no longer possesses a human body to translate my electrical signals through the air and for her to receive it in a body, it will sound like a mouse or a monster or an unknown language. But the reading of my lips or expression on my face is enough to understand the context of what's happening within the given window of time the deceased experienced. If we are to try to attempt to connect with the deceased, we must look at the world differently. We must start opening our minds to the possibilities that what we experience can be recorded, replayed, rewatched, just like your favorite Netflix movie. The deceased somewhere in our reality need a machine or mechanism in place which can capture their electromagnetic signature soul, amplify their electromagnetic output, and perhaps use tachyons or other subatomic particles which can phase this spectrum into our analog living experience. Maybe let me try this m- Maybe let me try it this way. If they are traveling so fast at the speed of thought, and we are so slow, we are moving, basically standing still motion, one of us has got to give. The living cannot speed up time in order to communicate with the deceased. We cannot travel as fast as the deceased can, but if the deceased were willing to enter into another apparatus, or lack of a better term, digital body, perhaps artificial intelligence can translate the amount of energy required it would take for a spiritual entity to communicate in our real time experienced environment. It is another good question worth asking. Mhm. That's about it on that one. So, uh, I guess let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it. Got one more.